Found a way through. Drope the man. Curling finish into that bottom corner. No mistake.
As we see the replay, taken well. No mistake. Colombia 0, Brazil 1, 10 minutes played. Brazil had been building up a head of steam. And here they come again. With Eder. Tries a shot from long range, saved well by the keeper. Following up was Fasal. Now the game might open up here. Here's Menezes. Palares. Ospina. To Palares. Forced back to his keeper. Ospina, an option on this near side. Again, it's long from Colombia. The control there from Echeverri, not good enough. If you're going to hit those long balls out from the keeper, you've got to be able to hit them to an outlet where they can be brought under control and bring the others into the play.
It's so difficult for any Colombian forward to win something in the air against this tall, powerful Brazil side.
Here's Drope to Mumu, who's come on for his first action of the game. 10 minutes before they made the first substitution, Brazil. And Mumu's very much a fine player, as we saw from the opening game. Here come Colombia, trying to work an opening. It is Ospina. Referee's blown his whistle, asserting his authority. And has a quick chat with Ospina.
He did very well in the first instance to hold off his marker and get the ball down. Just couldn't squeeze past him.
Here's Eder. Seringa's made a run forward. Drope, as ever, forward as well. Fasal goes down under the attentions of Menezes. 8 minutes to go or so to half-time. Brazil with the advantage, that goal on 10 minutes from Drope. Here's Eder. Out to Mumu, who goes for goal spectacularly. And this time it's into the stand behind the goal.
Drew applause from the fans in the stand opposite us. They certainly play the Brazilian way, don't they?
They do.
Flair, tricks, pace, power.
Great to watch.
Everything you'd associate with Samba football.
And this side looks very strong and capable of dishing it out physically as well. Mumu receives it on this left-hand side, very much reminiscent of the stature of Roberto Carlos. Mumu moving around the pitch. Here's an opportunity for a second. And it's Fasal on the left-hand side. The Brazilians carving open the Colombians with a bit of ease. And it's a second goal. Colombia 0, Brazil 2.
Delicious move from back to front. Mumu, the man at the centre of it all, lending it to his teammates, getting it back. Eventually works over to Fasal, who reversed a clever effort inside the near post. Brazil starting to flex their muscles.
It's a quick-fire double from Brazil. And what sort of response have Colombia got? And here's Seringa bursting through the middle, might make the most of things. Drope was there trying to squeeze it home. And some last-ditch defending from Colombia, who are just threatening to be overwhelmed here. They want to get to half-time. And there is a shot from Seringa. Should have done better. Time and space from the edge of the area, and he couldn't get his shot on target.
He scored in the first game, Seringa, against the Egyptians, and he could have had one there. Goal at his mercy. Perhaps came at him just a little bit too quickly.
Well, the Colombians scored 4 in their opener, and they've got to start to get their shooting boots on this morning. Long punt upfield from the goalkeepers. Brought down by Menezes. And it'll be a corner over on that far side, taken quickly. Echeverri is available on the right-hand side, taking up a An advanced position. Palares back to his keeper. Pumped forward. You wouldn't really expect Colombia to go with a long ball option, would you? Perhaps, let's be charitable, Brazilian are making them resort to that option. Free kick to Brazil, received by Fasal. Out it goes to that far side to Seringa. To Fasal. This looks a little too easy now for Brazil. Spraying the ball around with ease. Here's Eder with a long distance shot, just narrowly wide. The referee's blown his whistle.
Must have had about 7 or 8 attempts now, Eddie. He's desperate for that goal. He's not been far away each time he set his sights.
Colombia with the ball on the edge of their own penalty area. Played forward to Menezes on the halfway line. Palares directing operations, receives the ball. Out it comes to this near side to Salazar. Ospina takes up a position on this near touch line. And suddenly there aren't too many spaces for Colombia and they're forced again for that long ball. That wasn't anywhere near its intended target, and here comes Eder again. Last ditch clearance from Crosco. Right up the other end of the field. You could see there when Colombia had the ball, they couldn't see too much in front of them.
Well, Brazil are penning them back so far into their own half when they do collect the ball scoop. They've got so much distance to travel before they're anywhere near Brazil's net.
Eder to Seringa over on the far side. Forward it comes to William on as a sub. Muscular presence, that perhaps a slightly different option.
It's just about to say, Scoob, he's a mountain of a man.
There's Mumu, hits the crossbar. Spectacular effort. Really good effort that from the Brazilian number 3. And it was almost a third. Colombia needs to keep hold of the ball and get themselves to half-time. A couple of minutes to go and regain their composure. It's only a 2-goal deficit, which in the circumstances, if it were to remain that way, that could be considered somewhat of a success, arguably, for Colombia. But here's Seringa again into the penalty area. Ospina picks it up for the yellow shirts of Colombia. Out to this near side to Salazar. Not too many options for the Colombians. Forward it goes to Ospina, who's tried to get things going for Colombia. They had 1 or 2 opportunities, spurned them. 1 or 2 early opportunities presented to them by the Brazilians. It's a kick in on this near side in a dangerous position for Colombia. They haven't had too many of those. Salazar will take it. Granados is there as well, receives the ball. Back to Palares. Over on that far side is Silveira. As we enter the final minute, the ball goes harmlessly out of play. Over on that far side, Colombia will make a change. On comes Sampaio, an attacking midfielder. I think it's the young Brazilian fans in fine voice over there on that far side. Certainly they've enjoyed what they've seen from this footballing superpower. Eder. Forward it goes. William might pick it up on his left foot, gets to the byline, strong in possession. Lays it back to Fasal. To Eder. Out to Mumu on that far side. Rolls his foot over the ball, goes one way then the other. Drives towards the dead ball line. That's great play from the Brazilian. Number 3, who's shown he can operate on either flank.
Enjoying himself, Mumu, isn't he?
Back to Seringa. There is the half-time whistle. Early opportunities for the Colombians, presented to them by Brazil. Slack passes, 2 decent early opportunities. for Colombia. They were spurned, and then it was a quick-fire double from the 5 times World Cup winners. Drope with the first on 10 minutes, and then Fasal with the second on 14. The half-time score, Colombia 0, Brazil 2.
Yeah, and those chances will feel a long time ago now for Colombia, because since then Brazil have absolutely suffocated them. They've toyed with them at times, and something needs to change for Colombia if they're going to find a way back into this match, because the Brazilians have been relentless.
Shots raining in from the Brazilians, 11 shots already. The Colombians have kept the score down. Half-time here in Group D, it's Colombia 0, Brazil 2.
شكرا لكل الجماهير الحاضرة، ونخص طلابنا الأعزاء مشكورين على الحضور والتفاعل. نحب ننوهكم اليوم إن شاء الله مباراة منتخبنا مع كندا الساعة 8 مساء. مباراة عمان مع كندا إن شاء الله الساعة 8 مساء. نتمنى حضوركم وتشجيع جميع أهاليكم وأخوانكم بالحضور. بإذن الله عمان وكندا الساعة 8 مساء. شكرا لكم جميعا.
Welcome back. We are off and underway in this second half between Colombia and Brazil, with the blue shirts of Brazil very much in the ascendancy, leading by 2-0. Colombians with some questions to answer at half-time. And here come Brazil once again. Down this right-hand side with Mumu, who has switched sides with some consummate ease. There's Fasal. Back to Mumu again, who might look to bring it onto his left foot and try one. Possession-based stuff. It's Seringa into the penalty area. Mumu there, the intended target. And clear from Colombia. Brazil have very much resumed where they left off in the first half. All possession for Brazil. Some respite for Colombia, but it's only to Seringa on the halfway line. Eder on the halfway line. Eder very much directing things out to Seringa. Mumu on this right-hand side in the second half, seeing a lot of the ball. Here he is again. There's a driven low cross. Really good ball, that one, into the penalty area. Silveira was the man in the way. And it's a corner on this near side. Shot there, saved by the keeper. Eder it was. Eder very much looking to get on the score sheet. Here's Eder again, another low shot. Did well there to keep his shot down. Mumu switching sides out to that far side. There's a back heel. There's a shot from Seringa, saved by the keeper. Alvaro's doing well there. And he's doing well to keep the score down. Here's Eder, long-range shot, not too far away. And what you notice is the quality of the shooting from Brazil.
Yeah, and that would have been an extraordinary team goal had Seringa applied the finish. Rafa did ever so well just to hold it up. Neat, cute little flick round the corner. Seringa just couldn't apply the cherry on top.
They seem to generate a lot of power in their shooting with minimum backlift. Seringa. Over it goes to that far side. A wall of yellow shirts in front of them. Eder receives it once again. 2-0 Brazil lead into the penalty area. There's a chance for Mumu. Set up by William. It was almost too easy there. Little flick with the back of his heel from William, who has Rafa on the back of his shirt, but he told us he prefers to be called William. Eder, over it goes to that far side. They've got a player on either touchline, Brazil. There's Mumu again. This looks dangerous once more, and there is a wayward shot from Brazil. That's almost a collector's item.
It is. We haven't seen too many fly into the stands from Brazil. Usually so accurate when they set their sights. That one was wayward from Mumu, but we'll let them off one time, Scoot, because so far they've been excellent in their shooting.
It almost seems effortless.
They play with such a swagger, don't they?
It's a clean. Here come Brazil once again. This time it was William with the shot just wide. And some brief respite for Colombia. And it's back with Alvarez in the Colombian goal. This is better for the Colombians. Silveira in possession in the left-hand side. Ospina, seems a long time ago since Colombia had those couple of chances. It's chipped forward into the Brazilian penalty area. Out comes Victal. Gathers with ease. 2-0 it remains as we pass or approach the 25-minute mark. Here's Mumu. Fasal's available over on that far side. Receives the ball. Lays it off early. One back by Colombia. Has some potential here in this attack. And Echeverri seemed to be in the clear, but went down injured and claims he got a whack on the shin. If he'd been able to keep going, he may have had a bit of time and space.
Yeah, neat little bit of footwork. Eder dives in with the tackle and he's earned himself a yellow card as Eder, which means he'll have to spend 2 minutes in the sin bin. If Colombia want to get something from this game, they're really, really going to have to capitalise on this now because they'll have the man advantage. Brazil, for so much of this clash, have looked like they've had a man extra on the pitch. And now Colombia do.
Perhaps it might even things up. Here are Colombia then, with Menezes. A free kick. 2 available in the penalty area. One is the man that won the free kick, Echeverri. Menezes lines up the free kick. Doesn't go for goal. Oh, that's high, wide and over and wasteful from Ospina, who has had some decent chances in this game and hasn't been able to make the most of them.
Wasteful is absolutely the right word, Scoop. Just as we're talking about how they need to capitalise on these situations while they've got the man advantage, blazed over the bar.
Vassal laying it off comfortably. Back to Victal. A long ball from him forward. That's a collector's item. And a little flicked header there from 20-odd yards, which troubled Alvarez from William. That would have been some effort if it had gone in. But here come Colombia. Remember, they have the man advantage. Can they make the most of it? Here they are on this near side. Echeverri there. Ball into the box. Can't find Ospina. Goes behind. And it is... In fact, it's a kick-in on this near side. Probing, foraging down this left-hand side is Menezes. Another kick-in. Out it goes. From long range, there's a good chance for Colombia. Great effort from Palares. That is better from the Colombians.
It is, and he just jumps in frustration. Palares, because he knows how close he came.
Bit of pressure from Colombia. Brazil lead by 2-0. There's Palares again, the man who had that shot a few seconds ago. Over on that far touchline is Ospina. He's got Mumu ahead of him. Let's go with a left-footed shot. Still the advantage for Colombia in terms of manpower. And they sense that if they're going to get back into this game, now is the moment. And that's not a bad effort from Palares. And was there a touch from the goalkeeper?
Yeah, there was.
It was going over anyway. But Victal opted for the safe option and tipped it over. So Ospina himself will take that corner over on the far side. Lurking on the edge of the penalty area is Echeverri.
Brazil back up to 6 now, Scoop.
Well, I was going to say they were relieved, but they were barely troubled. Low ball into the box gathered at the second attempt by Victal, who then throws it out with some speed to Vassal on the right-hand side. Goes down under the attentions of Krozko. Free kick. On this near side, dangerous position. Brazil once again pressing forward. Seringa only the man back who receives the ball. Almost looks too easy for them, doesn't it? The way they just keep the ball moving out to Mumu on the far side. Seringa thought for a moment about the shot, then lays it off to Mumu. A little flick there from Drope, he's back on. And here come Colombia. Some promise in this attack. In terms of support is Krozko. To Echeverri. To Palares. Ospina receives it over on the far side. Good passage of play for Colombia. Krozko, good control from him. Ospina attempts the long ball forward, but he's got 3 blue shirts in front of him. Does well to find Echeverri. Brings it under control. And wins the kick in. And Mumu seems quite pleased with himself there.
He does. He celebrated that like he just scored a 25-yarder.
Well, it shows what it means to them. It is a kick into Brazil. That's why he was so delighted to snuff out that attack. Vassal has swapped sides, now taken a position on this near touchline, the right. Back to Mumu. Eventually it's Colombia who can try and bring it clear. Frustration from them as the ball goes out of play. 2-0 it remains as we pass the half-hour mark. And the game now starting to resume the pattern that emerged in the first period.
I was just thinking that, Scoop, ever since Brazil have gone back to full complement.
Keeper in action again, Alvarez getting down well low. But Brazil getting back well, and it's Mumu picking up the ball. Rato is on, haven't seen too much of him. The Brazilian number 6.
As I was saying, Skip, ever since Brazil have gone back to full complement, Colombia just haven't been able to find those spaces they did.
Here's Mumu down the left-hand side, fires over with his right. Sorry, Frankie, you were saying?
Well, he's a box of tricks, Mumu, isn't he? Every time he gets on the ball, burst of acceleration. Struggling to live within the Colombians.
I mean, Brazil have been really good.
They have. They've been excellent.
Long ball forward, aimed towards Ospina, who's searching for scraps, clutches his head, and claims there was an infringement by Rato, who gets a talking to the referee.
I must admit, Scoop, I expected slightly more from Colombia. They drew with Iran and scored 4 goals against them, albeit conceding 4 along the way. But Iran are a good side. Perhaps just shows how strong this Brazilian outfit really is. And from their first game, they look like they've come on leaps and bounds.
So it's a free kick over on that far side for Colombia. Menezes will take it. Lurking on the edge of the penalty area is Granados. The only man back is Palares. Ospina there as well. He's policed by Mumu. And there is the shot, and the referee's blown his whistle. Not quite sure what that was for, but that moment of danger is over for Brazil, and the normal situation can resume as Eder comes back on. Mumu gone off. He's made some form of impact. Looks a very useful player. Here's Fasal, bringing the ball instantly under control. Goes one way, then the other. Then effortlessly sprays it out to Rato over on that far side. Here's Edo again, clipping it forward to Seringa, who slips. Drope will try and win it back. I mean, we don't want to trade too much in cliche, but Brazil are very much as you would expect them to be. Barbosa back on. Strong, skillful, direct. Sumptuous control, tricks.
The Brazilians, they learn to play football on those small-sided pitches. If anything, what we see at 11-a-side is just a translation from how they start in the small-sided games.
Ball comes into the middle to Eder. And goes out of play. Once again, it is a kick-in for Brazil. 2-0 they lead. Eder out to this near touchline. To Fasal. To Rato. Fasal. Rato hasn't seen too many minutes in this tournament so far. I'll be interested to see how good he is. He must be their worst player, as it's a free kick to Colombia over on that far side. And Rato still a very, very good player. Opportunity, though, for Colombia. If they could get a goal back, that would make things interesting for the last 6 minutes or so. Crosco takes up a position at the far post. 3 in the penalty area now for Colombia. Ball driven in, doesn't get past the wall. Not the greatest free kick in the world from Menezes, who has to retrieve the ball from behind the advertising hoarding and is unable to do so, so a replacement comes on. The only man back for Colombia is Palares. Crosco makes himself available. One back, though, by the Brazilians. And it's Eder on the edge of his own penalty area to Barbosa. Change for Brazil. Fasal off, Seringa on. And it's Seringa that receives the ball. So quickly they move it around, the Brazilians, up towards the edge of the penalty area. It's passed and then move. There's Seringa, and that's wide. Such great play to pass the ball and then effortlessly glide into some space to receive the return pass. Football's such a simple game.
Really is a joy to watch. Just so fluid, this Brazilian team. The way they move, so much rhythm to it. Almost like a performative art.
The beautiful game. Is Eder at the back. Out to Rato on the far side. Betinho on as well for Brazil. Haven't seen too much of him. Well, we can see why they haven't got too many in their squad, Brazil. As Seringa goes down, clutching his right shin. And gets back to it gingerly to his feet. They don't really need them.
They don't. Every single player on that pitch for Brazil just looks like they love and enjoy playing football. And they won't want to come off the pitch, even if they are tired, even if they are hot. Just play with a smile on their faces.
Here's Barbosa with the free kick. Leaves it to Seringa. Eder receives it outside the penalty area. Shoots! Is it bundled over the line? No, it's not. That was a decent opportunity there from Betinho, who's only just come on. Right, almost on the goal line. And it remains 2-0. I wonder if there'll be some disappointment that it's only 2-0 from Brazil, because really they could have scored a hatful.
They could have, but at the same time, Scoop, they haven't forced anything, have they? They've just let things flow as they are, and they'll be happy with their work. I think Eder will be the man. Most disappointed he hasn't got his goal for all of his shots.
Clip forward. That is a loose pass for a change. Crosco, the man that cuts it out. And there's an inquisition about that loose pass. Such are the high standards of Brazil. Mumu's back on. Good player to watch.
You're right, Scoop, there was an inquisition, and the very best sides, they hold each other to account, even if they're 2, 3, 4-0 up.
Mumu tries to receive it, heads the ball goalwards. That wasn't a bad effort. There have been a couple of headers from Brazil that haven't been too far away. We don't see too many headers in six-a-side football. 2-0 Brazil lead. Very, very much in the ascendancy, with 2.5 minutes left for play here in the 2024 Soccer World Cup. And don't forget, you can catch up with all the action on the app. All the highlights are there. And that is a very, very useful tool, which we ourselves have been making most of, Frankie. Is Seringa in the centre circle, exchanging passes with Drope, who passes and moves. Mumu with the shot. Shot early when he might have opted to delay. One well back, though, by Eder, who goes for goal. And that one is just over the bar. Peppering that goal, Brazil.
Little bit selfish from Brazil's number 7, Eder.
There's Eder again. Again, they're in some space. Betinho with the shot this time. I'd like to see the statistics, how many shots that Brazil have had in this game. But it's only 2-0. A couple of quick-fire goals, and we've seen it before in the last minute. Would create some real drama, but it's very hard to see. Here's Echeverri, though, turning well. Couldn't find Ospina in that far side. Seringa brings it clear. Now Mumu has a chance in the penalty area. Down goes Alvarez. To Seringa again. Brings it onto his left foot. Out to Rato over on that far side. Bit of skill from him. Back out to Mumu. Here's Drope at the far post into the side netting. Really, really good stuff from Brazil. And there may be one more goal left in this performance. Mumu forced into defensive action. Be interesting to see Brazil up against the likes of Germany, who would pose a few more questions. Mumu shoots, and there is a third goal, and it's Drope who's got it. And that is the icing on the cake for Brazil. It's Colombia 0, Brazil 3.
And with that, the full-time whistle. You were just saying, Scoop, you felt there was one more in this. And indeed there was. Mumu with a cross-come shot. And waiting was Drope to notch his second of the game. Brazil have been magnificent, worthy in every department of their 3-0 lead. Commanding performance from them.
Drope with a brace. He got the scoring underway on 10 minutes, and he receives the congratulations of his teammates, and he sealed the win right on 40 minutes. And that is a comprehensive win. Brazil 16 shots, 11 of them on target. Colombia 6 shots, just 2 on target, and that tells its own story. So in Group D, a very, very comprehensive win for Brazil, beating Colombia 3-0. Up next for them, Ireland, and good luck to the Irish for that one. It looks like they've got some challenge on their hands there. As for Colombia, after their initial 4-4 draw against Iran, they've got Egypt and Ireland up next, so they should be far from downhearted. So our coverage concludes here in Group D with Colombia 0, Brazil 3.
Out there.
شكرا لكم من جديد طلابنا الاعزاء على الحضور.
Estou feliz com a atuação da equipe. A gente vem de duas vitórias importantes, dá tranquilidade para a gente no campeonato. Graças a Deus saiu mais um golzinho e vamos que vamos. He make a goals and happy to the victory.
Yeah, well, he looked like he was enjoying the support of the travelling fans over there. You got a lot of love for the Omanis. Everywhere you go, everyone always loves Brazil, don't they?
Yeah, ele falou que tem muitos torcedores e que todo lugar que a gente vai tem torcedores brasileiros. É isso mesmo? Como que você está achando desse suporte da galera? A gente gosta desse apoio aí, né? Esse apoio é importante pra gente, esse calor. É muito bom e a gente se sente gratificante com esse carinho todo. He liked the support, and in Brazil, we love this.
Every single Brazilian team you see always seems to play the same way. Flair, trickery, strong, athletic. Is it something that's just built into the Brazilians from birth?
Yeah. Ele falou sobre as características dos jogadores. Ele fala, a gente gosta de fazer gol e o que a gente mais quer é isso daí, sair daqui campeão. A gente gosta de fazer bastante gol, dribles. Isso já é da gente já. Se Deus quiser, a gente vai sair daqui campeão. Olha a dancinha pra eles aí. Make the dance, Brazilian dance.
There we go, back to the top of Group D for Brazil. Congratulations on a brilliant performance. Stick with us, because next up, the teams are out. We've got Australia versus Latvia as our second offering on day 4 of the Socca World Cup here in Amman 2024.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, will you please welcome onto the field your two teams, Australia and Latvia. Please be upstanding for the two national anthems.
Welcome back to day 4 of the Socca World Cup in the jewel of the Arabian Gulf. 2-1 was the ill-fated scoreline for both Australia and Latvia in their first Group F encounters. The Aussies slipped to defeat after a battling display against Albania. They still search for their first World Cup win in this, their first ever soccer tournament, having joined the federation this year. A late strike from Corsacks wasn't enough to spare Latvia's blushes against a more than competent Mexico side. Two teams looking to right their wrongs and get off with 3 points on the ball scoop. We watched Australia, didn't we?
We did.
They started slowly, but they grew into it, and they showed that they're a more than capable side.
Two teams very much in the same boat, having lost their opening fixtures, and both will be hoping to make amends and get their first points on the board. And it's a good opportunity for both sides. He who dares wins. Pick up a win here, and everything could change in this Group F.
We had a chance to speak to the Australian camp before their opener against Albania. They're telling us they spent 4 days in Dubai at a training camp ahead of the tournament, preparing in the right way. We're also reliably informed they've got plenty of NPL experience across their squad, plenty of players that play a high standard of football in their homeland.
One or two good players for them. I felt in the first game that Australia didn't make the most of their number 7, Stambolioff. I thought he showed a lot of potential, and he was used predominantly from the bench last time. Let's see if he will play a more prominent role this time.
Well, of course, Albania, they won their first game against Australia, but they lost 2-0 to Peru. Peru's goalkeeper scoring both, would you believe? And that's a win that's cracked this group wide open. Scoop.
Anyone can go through. The Peruvians will really fancy their chances. They were absolutely jubilant last night. That will have given them great confidence. But Mexico, you'd think, will be the strongest team in this group. Thereafter, anyone else could go through.
Mexico, of course, winners of the Soccer Copa America in Cancun, and it's Kurt Elbra who stands over the ball and will get us underway. Australia flag, or 2 Australia flags held high in the stands, as that's a neat early run from Benan Ramandi. Gets to the byline, cross comes in, and Svedis Kula has to be alert. Shane Watson, the man who lines up in Australia's net. Really interesting tie. Australia, as I mentioned, did a lot of prep for this tournament. They played Uruguay in a friendly ahead of the World Cup, winning 4-1. And of course, as we've seen, and that's excellent pressing from Australia, and a chance. Spurned. Good early running from Nikazone, who nicks it off the feet of Svedis Kula. Shot comes in, but the Latvian keeper manages to smother it and atone for his error.
Started well, the Australians. They seem to want to grasp the initiative, get in there early, get their opponents on the back foot. Good early pressure.
Ramandi, the man with a chance. He scored Australia's only goal in their last match, and he almost had another one there. Excellent work from the Aussies from the off. Corner work back to Ben Morrison. Rolls it, lets one fly, slightly drags it, but a positive start nonetheless.
Did well to keep his shot down.
He did. We've seen a few of them fly out of this purpose-built arena. Flicked around the corner, but collected by Ben Morrison.
I wonder what it's like for these two teams to watch Brazil in action just before this one. I wonder if they caught any of it. I mean, it will be human nature to think, well, what a good side they are.
Azone nudges it down the touchline. Ben Morrison's made the run. Slips at the crucial moment. More good work. The men from down under. Of course, if you want to keep up to date with all the action and reflect on what's happened so far in the Soccer World Cup, you can do so by downloading the International Soccer Federation app. Score updates, team news, highlights packages, exclusive interviews, the lot.
And we would highlight 2 goals from 2 goalkeepers. A pair of braces.
Strike! Whistles wide from Nicozone. He's looked lively in these opening exchanges, and you're absolutely right, Scoop. Those 2 braces from 2 separate goalkeepers, well worth downloading the app for alone.
The German one we thought we couldn't be bettered. 2 screamers. And then from the Peruvian goalkeeper, well, that was the performance of the day. 2 goals from him.
Soccer continuously humbles you, Scoop, doesn't it, on commentary? Just as you say and think, you won't see anything better.
You've got to allow yourself somewhere to go, and possibly we didn't after the Germans' 2 goals.
Tackle comes in from Christian Corsacks, who scored Latvia's only goal in their 2-1 defeat to Mexico. Adjudged as a slide, he disagrees. And again, Australia can make their endeavours forward. Sam Young back to Ben Morrison, chipped, looking for space on this far side, where Ramandi was lurking. Not quite the accuracy, and Latvia make a whole host of changes. They won't be used to playing in these temperatures, will they, Skip?
It's interesting, they've gone for the wholesale changes approach. Brazil went for the as and when needed approach.
That's a neat touch down the touchline. Took it right into his path, Dordzians. But dealt with well by Australia. Sorry, Scoop, you were saying about the Brazilians.
I can't remember what I was saying now. But
no, you're absolutely right.
They're substitutions.
They didn't make the wholesale changes we've seen from other teams. 1 or 2 where required. It just looked like they're enjoying themselves. Brazilians didn't want to be substituted.
I think they responded flexibly to the situation as and when a player got tired or it was deemed necessary to make a change. Then they made the change rather than scripting them to advance. And I must confess, for me, I prefer the former.
Matt Casale standing over the kick-in of Italian heritage. Spent a decade playing in Australia's NPL. One of the men they highlighted to us when we had the chance to speak to their camp. Svedis Kula, towering figure in the Latvian goal. Flicked around the corner, but collected by Australia. And here's a chance. It's a foot race with the keeper that Casale finds himself in, but Svedis Kula was alert to the danger and quick off his line to clear.
Very, very strong, athletic appearance. Svedis Kula off his line smartly.
Australia have themselves a corner now.
He's only a shade under 2 metres tall. We can tell that from the crossbar.
Yeah, his head's almost brushing the underside of that bar, isn't it? De Silva looking to trick his way down the line. And Latvia have themselves a free kick. Napsis, the man who wanted to bring it away, but play is brought back by our officials as Einards Dordzians hits the deck. Svedis Kula side foots one into the touchline for Vittel needs to chase. Chase he does. Wins himself a kick in for his efforts. Latvia looking to load the box. Ball cut back, flies past everyone. And Scoop, from their own kick in, right up in Australia's half, they've given one away.
Always frustrating that. Got to make the most of your opportunities. You don't want to be chasing up and down the field in this heat.
Abudareb into the feet of De Silva. Lighten his toes. Elijah Howe striding forward. Good incisive pass into De Silva, who's looking busy up top for the Aussies. Elijah Howe, another player with experience in the game. Grew up in Canberra, made the move to the United States and played for Michigan State University, among others. Now in Sydney, the Australian NPL with Tigers FC. Loose touch there from Shane Watson, and it's pounced upon. More good work from Visselnieks. who's led the charge for Latvia so far.
Good pressing, high pressing that from Latvia. That will encourage them. Putting the goalkeeper under a bit of pressure.
Watson this time spins clear. But I think our officials have overturned it for a Latvia kick-in. Perhaps an Australian foot just encroached on that white line. So we know one of the rules in soccer, your foot has to be behind the line when you take a kick-in. No, in fact, I think, because it was returned to the keeper, it's been given as a free kick to Latvia. And it's in a dangerous position, loading the penalty area. And number 10, Kondratjev's lurking. Can they find a way through that three-man wall? Cut back to Kondratjev's. Strike comes in. Shane Watson did well to watch it through a sea of bodies. Collects well and dishes out to Budarebu. Strikes low. Not enough power to really draw sweat from the brow of Svedis Kula.
Good free kick that a few moments
ago.
And
that's a neat chest and a chance. An excellent touchdown to Edwards Visnakovs. And he spins and smashes it on the half volley, just wide of the post, and an opening for Latvia almost from nothing.
Great chance for Visnakovs. Shot well, just narrowly wide. Great opportunity that for Latvia to take the lead. Their best chance of the game so far.
Route 1 paying dividends for the Latvians. Excellent chest control to flick it into the path of Visnakovs. Just couldn't apply the finish. Here's a Budareb to De Silva, back to George Hart. Hails from London. Does George Hart played for Grays Athletic and Braintree before making the move to sunnier shores. Neat turn from a Budareb, gets the shot away. Svedis Kula has to get down low. Very tidy spin from a Budareb, who's starting to look dangerous. Latvia stride forward with Korsaks. Shots raining in at each end, and Korsaks has won himself a free kick for something that happened in the aftermath. Opening up this one, isn't it, Scoop?
Yep. First real opportunity of the game for Latvia. For Vitelnex. Before that, there was a well-worked free kick. But Kondratjev's did well to get on target. Shane Watson, the Australian goalkeeper, well placed to gather safely, but either side of him that shot, and he'd have been in some form of trouble.
They do have another very gifted keeper on the bench, the Aussies, in Sebastian Bernhard, nicknamed the Swiss Kangaroo, which is a nickname that I adore.
Fair dinkum. Bulvitis waits to take the free kick.
Another good position this. They can whip it round that two-man wall.
Kondratjev might fancy the shot. Lurking in the centre circle.
Bulvitis stands over it. Cuts it back. Works out well to Korsaks. Drives across her along the face, and all of a sudden things are opening up for Australia. Stamberleaf tries to work across over to that far stick. Crowded out. And then a Latvia man is sandwiched between two bodies. It was Napsis who felt the full force of the two closing defenders, and again Latvia ring the changes. Free kick for the Latvians. Little Nix over it. Dordzi Sands also paying close attention. Napsis lurking at the back post. Whistle blows. Dordzi Sands tries to work one down the line. You could see the intention. Vissel Nix had just charged on. Pass slightly too heavy. Watson lofts long. Stamberleaf challenging. He'd do well to win a header against Sanjis Joks, who's a man mountain. They've got a couple of those, Latvia.
Yep. It's all physically imposing. Particularly up front, two strong strikers.
Stamberleaf, who did ever so well to man-mark Katsa when the Australians faced Albania in their opener.
Up for grabs, this.
It is up for grabs.
Great opportunity for these sides.
Dordzi Sands Knocks one into the centre, it's down the line for Napsis. Forced backwards, happy to be patient, Latvia. Their skipper, Dawes his hands on the ball. And that's a loose one from Napsis.
You'd think Mexico would dominate this group, third place in 2023. They would be the favourites to go through. They've got 3 points already, but Peru have and Albania have as well. And it's an opportunity for these sides to get that first win on the board.
Loose touch from Ramandi. Bobbles out of play, and you're absolutely right, Scoop. Mexico will be the favourites if you're going off the form guide. Winners of the Copa Socca America and placing third in Essen last year. They didn't blow Latvia away when they faced off. They did get the points on the board, and ultimately that's all that matters in the group stage. Don't get extra for a good performance. Stambelief turns well, space in front of him, quickly closed down by 3 Latvian players. But Young does well to snap in and regain control for Australia. Azone, who is very lively in the opening few minutes, making another dash down the touchline. Stambelief's lurking if he can find the cross, tries to. Snuffed out by the imposing figure of Joksts. Zone stands over the kick in. Ramandi tries to angle one round the corner. Plenty of endeavour from the Socceroos. Latvia with a neat ball into the feet of Vittelnieks. Does well to hold off his marker in turn. But he's lost it, and Stambelief can break all of a sudden. It's 3-on-2. Strike low from Stambelief. Didn't really get hold of it. And Sveders Kulak just falls on it. Excellent keeping from Watson, who reads the long throw.
Stambelief has to do better there. Great opportunity on his right foot. Presented to him.
Ramandi dashes down the line. Skill doesn't come off. But Young with a chance to shoot, does shoot! All of a sudden a loose pass. Open things up for Young, and here he comes again. Second chance into the side netting. 2 big opportunities for the Australian skipper. First one saved from Sveders Kulak. He won it back. And I think the second one was tipped round the post as well by the big Latvian stopper.
First one, a real golden opportunity. Should have made the most of it.
Morrison this time hammers one. As Australia crank up the heat on their European opponents. Free kick given against.
Australia with their tails up. Very much in the ascendancy. And if we've learnt something, you've got to take advantage of these key moments in games. Grasp the initiative and get in front when you can.
Well, the Aussies will know that, Scoop. They had plenty of chances against Australia. It could have felt slightly hard done by that they ended up losing that one. Had some chances today as well, and Sveders Kulak is hounded by Ramandi, the boy nicknamed the man not from Rosario. Little play on Lionel Messi, of course, small and skillful player.
Goalkeepers come in all shapes and sizes. Sveders Kulak at the larger end of the scale, physically imposing, and he's pulled off some good stops so far in this encounter in Group F.
Shane Watson's a bear of a man as well. De Silva runs out of pitch. Here he is, Sveders Kulak. Lost one long. Napsis wins the header. Australia scrambled clear. It was Visnikov's. The Latvian looking to get the shot away. Zalus, the kick in. Danger cleared by Ben Morrison, who plays at this World Cup alongside his brother James, the head coach / player for Australia. Kick in fired goalwards by Zalus.
3 minutes to go to half time. Great opportunity for both of these sides to get their noses in front.
It's Australia have done the better work so far, although Latvia have had a couple of sighters of their own. Kasali Looks to hold off 2 men. Does so brilliantly well and earns himself a foul. Good strong play there from Casale.
Did well under the attentions of 2 Latvians.
Sam Young standing over the free kick. Couple of glorious chances. Did Sam Young. Drew 2 saves from Arvis Fedis-Kula, and he shoots again. Curling effort. Would have done well to have found the top right-hand corner from there. He did have Casale cutting across the shot. Perhaps that was the intention.
Yeah, the quality of the shooting from the Australians it doesn't really compare to the Brazilian shooting earlier, who effortlessly seems to get their shot away.
Abudareb tackles well. Protests to the referees that he thought he was fouled in the aftermath, but referees happy with what they saw. 2 minutes to go until the interval. We've seen plenty of goals fly in just before the break, Scoop, haven't we? So still time for the opener.
I think teams, it's possible for them to switch off a little bit. Your mind start to drift to half-time.
This is with Casale. You're right about teams switching off. 20 minutes doesn't seem like a long time, but it is in these small-sided games. You have to maintain concentration at all times as Young drives forwards. He's got Abudareb for company, doesn't need him as he strikes low, left-footed. Again, Fedis-Kula, relatively comfortable one for him. Falls on it. Very competent keeper, the Latvian. Ball breaks for Bulvitis. He then tumbles to the turf, clutching his shin, and Latvia will make a string of changes, 5 of them in fact, just shy of half-time. 30 seconds to go.
Pacowns comes on, looks a very physically imposing striker. Takes up a position in the penalty area.
Napsis, a bleached blonde hair, chips it towards the back post. Chance for Latvia. Excellent defending there from Ben Morrison. Threw himself at the ball. It was Pacowns.
Yeah, that was an uneven contest between the 2 of them.
It was, but he's got the heart of a lion. Does Ben Morrison. Threw himself in front of the big Latvian. Hooks clear, and that will be the final action of a first half. A first half that's seen plenty of chances, Scoop. None converted, but Australia will be happy with the work they've done at half-time. Sam Young with a couple of really good sighters. And it's 0-0, but it's by no means a boring encounter.
No, great opportunity, as we've been saying, for both of these sides. They haven't made the breakthrough. Australia with the better chances, you'd have to say. James Young had a couple of those. The first was a real golden opportunity, which drew a save from the keeper. And John Stamberleaf, he also had a right-footed shot where he possibly should have done a little bit better. So it's 0-0 at half-time.
0-0 at the break. We'll be back bringing you all the second half action from our second game of the day. Both teams emerge for the second half in this Group F encounter. Australia versus Latvia, 0-0. The score at the break as the Brazilian side just have some fun with the Omani fans in the stands. The Omanis giving the Brazilians their kumas, their traditional caps. And the Brazilians putting on a show, dancing. Great fun. Yeah, really good to see kind of cultures collide and come together, Scoop, isn't it?
Well, it's the universal language of football, a language we all speak.
Early chance here for Latvia. Poked wide. Vittelniks it was with the opportunity. Stabbed her foot at it.
Great chance. Should have done better.
Dorsey Sands just tosses it. Kurt Elbra out of his path. Referees say no wrongdoing.
Interesting introduction just before half-time of Pacowns. He looks an imposing figure up front. I think the biggest player we've seen in this tournament, the number 20 for Latvia. Could be an aerial option if Latvia decide to go that way.
A zone 8. That's a neat ball over the top. And all of a sudden Elijah Howe's in, strikes it, pounds the chest of Svedis Kula. True full-blooded drive. Elijah Howe.
Perfect position from the goalkeeper, taking up a position at his near post. Don't think he knew too much about it, but he was perfectly positioned.
Elbra spins well. Asked questions of Dorsey Sands, questions that the Latvian answers. Here's Romandi, tricky, jinky player for the Aussies. Made his debut at 18 years old. Behnam Romandi, 19. Now, such a young age, important to have that youthful energy. And here he is, latching onto the ball. Romandi, he's done well to twist and turn, drags it back, chance for a shot, just pulls it at the crucial moment. Well, I was just talking about the youthful exuberance of Romandi, and he did well there.
Good endeavour in that left-hand channel from Romandi. Got his shot in. Great effort, perseverance. Australia pressing in the early stages of this second half.
He already has one goal to his name, does Romandi. Almost added a second. Neat touchdown. Worked around the corner and all of a sudden things open up. And we have the opener just seconds before. Behnam Romandi had a golden opportunity, but such is the brutal nature of soccer. Play moves down the other end, breaks for Christian Corsacks, who gets his second of the tournament, lifting it over a helpless Shane Watson and into the back of the Australian net. 1-0 the score, Scoop.
Corsacks, no mistake whatsoever. He wasn't going to spurn that opportunity, and decisively he's put the Latvians in front. It's Australia 0, Latvia 1.
The same tough story for Australia. They missed chances against Albania, were punished. And as it stands, they're being punished here for the same sin by Latvia. They've had their opportunities, 2 so far in this second half. They might have another here as Azone strides forward, scooped into his path. And there's the equaliser. Just seconds between the 2 goals. And it's Romandi with a delicious scoop ball into the path of Nick Azone, who's looked dangerous all game. And he just clips it past Svedis Kula in the Latvia goal. Australia strike back.
Azone did ever so well. Great run from him. Fine finish. 2 goals in a minute between the 23rd and 24th minute. And it's level again.
Not an easy one to get a hold of that when you're running full tilt, ball's dropping. Easy to miss control, not get the connection. But Azone made no mistake. Spirited Australia, never say die.
Perfect response.
Second half off to a flyer 4 minutes in, and we've seen 2 goals. One for each side. Flick round the corner, cleverly by Stamboleaf. Australia have their tails up now. George Hall with the kick in. Breaks for a Budareb. Strike comes in all of a sudden. The keeper's in a foot race. It's one the Latvian forward has won. Well, it was Korsaks, the scorer, who found himself bearing down on the goal of Shane Watson. Won the contact before the keeper, but could only steer it round the post.
Great opportunity there from Korsaks. He's causing the Australians a few problems.
And exciting pace to this one now, and it's Korsaks again. George Hall does well. Crucial tackle from him. As I say, man originally hailing from London, switched to sunnier shores, and can't blame him, can you? Australia's a lovely place. Zaloos cuts it back. Another fierce effort from Korsaks.
Great curling effort there. That was only just over the bar. Both sides finding their range now.
Yeah, and he's got that star quality, hasn't he? Christians Korsaks.
As for George Hall, he's played a decent standard of football. The 5th tier in England.
Loose ball from Stamboleaf.
Braintree and Grays Athletic, both decent sides in the National League back in the UK. That's a good standard of football.
Certainly is. Svedis Kula spins it to the turf. Clips one up towards Vittelnieks, who does well to win the header. Can't get the direction. Australia take the chance to make a couple of substitutions. Sam Young and Ben Morrison re-entering the fray.
I'm just wondering what the national diet is in Latvia. Does it contain a lot of protein? Very physically imposing.
Either that or there's something in the water.
Yeah,
because they've got some giants. That's a clever pass from Abudareb. Saw the run of Matt Casali cutting across the face of goal. Not a million miles off. Svedis Kula again chips down the touchline. Neat touch from Napsis, who looks deceptively like Christians Korsaks, doesn't he? Similar haircut. Maybe they've got the same barber.
At least they need the barber.
Sam Young back on the ball. Watson sorts his feet out. Sells Abudareb slightly short, but he does well to scramble it half clear, but Latvia pick it up. Australia snapping back into their ranks. Dordzisans over it. Jokst is their skipper once more. Interception from the ever-busy Matt Casali. Kowalski challenges with Stamboleaf.
Went down a little too easily there.
He did, and I think that's the point that Stamboleaf is making to the officials.
Uneven contest in terms of physicality, but Latvia won the free kick.
And it's their number 9. Ravis Vittelnieks standing over it, and he's joined by Kowalski. Napsis in the centre. Does find Napsis. Pings straight back to him. It's a neat chip into the box, but Shane Watson's a big man, and he'll pluck those out the sky all day long. Morrison, yet to see his brother James into the field. He is kitted up. Watson plays it slightly behind Casali, who manages to sort his feet out and chip it down the line, and the game's just settled back into a little bit more of a steady rhythm after that crazy 5 minutes or so at the start of the second half.
Yeah, game burst into life. Korsaks with the opener for Latvia. Nicozoni levelling things for Australia almost instantaneously.
We'll have a short pause after this one to let the midday sun settle. And then we'll be back local time 3 p.m. for Croatia versus Argentina. Still 10 minutes to go in this one though.
This is going to be an interesting 10 minutes. These two teams playing in the heat of the day. You'd think the tiredness might become a factor as we edge towards the end of this game.
Lot of goals after that 38-minute mark have gone in. This Oman World Cup. Stamboulif on the halfway line for Australia. Such a busy, tidy player, and he's done well there to trick his way around a couple. Flicks it towards his teammate, Sam Young. Can't find him. That's a neat ball. Over to Zalous. Exchanges passes with Napsis and then takes a tumble. Latvia have a free kick. Dangerous position, Scoop. Ben Morrison, the man who gave it away.
Shane Watson barking instructions at his defence. That's what you want from a keeper. Taking charge of the penalty area. Telling his defenders what to do.
Some teams at this World Cup have only bought the one keeper. Australia are blessed with two very good ones. Christian's Corsacks. He's got two so far at this World Cup. Can he add to it? Opts for the pass. And I was just praising Australia's keepers. And it's a smart stop from Shane Watson, who got down low.
Got down well at his near post. Good effort on target. Shane Watson equal to it.
Corsacks will chip this in with those. There, yellow boots, and it's a loose control, and Stamboulif is through on goal. Can he finish? Great save from Svennis Kula. Well, there was a tug of his shirt as he ran through on goal. That's the point he's making. He's absolutely correct. Still managed to get the shot away, but it was smothered by Svennis Kula.
Very much a tug of the shirt. Perhaps the referees considering it's not quite significant enough to deny him a goal-scoring opportunity. But Stamboulif entitled to be aggrieved.
Strike there from Ben Morrison, and the point he's making as he's just charged past Stamboulif is that he's lost his momentum thanks to that shirt pull. And it was clear as day. He had a good handful of Stamboulif's shirt. As I say, still managed to get the effort off, but Australians still protesting with our officials. They want that looked at. They want a yellow card. He's put him off, is the message from their player coach, James Morrison. And Scoop, I'm inclined to agree, because it was a hefty tug as Stamboulif raced clear.
Morrison, the coach for Australia, making that point robustly. But it's gone, it's done. They've got to get on with the game.
Will that be a sliding doors moment? Another big opportunity for Australia.
Can't let it affect your concentration. Get on with the game. The game's still there to be won.
Svennis Kula charged down by Kurt Elbra. Good pressure from the Australian forward, forces him into a mistake.
Shows how much it means to the teams.
Always good to see a little bit of passion.
The Iranian coach demonstrated a lot of passion, if you recall.
Always occasions that spills over. Shane Watson striding forward. Sam Young now.
Interesting, some keepers come forward routinely out of their box. Not the case with Shane Watson.
No, I think he knows his limitations, Shane Watson. Excellent in and around that penalty area. But maybe not the Lucas Betts mould. Of course, the Germany keeper scored two absolute screamers yesterday. And if you haven't seen them, then download the International Soccer Federation app, where you can get all the highlights, because they are well worth watching. Let me assure you of that.
And if you're looking at today's highlights, just take a look at those Brazilians from today.
Always entertainment value, and that's an excellent run from Romandi. Did all the hard work. Just couldn't get any meaningful contact on that shot. But he's a live wire, Romandi, isn't he?
Certainly is. But I think the difference between the two teams we're seeing here now, Australia and Latvia, and some of the other teams, the top teams, is that little bit of quality in the final third.
Latvia come forward. Hopeful cross from Ravis Vitalniks.
Great control from Bacalms there. Ball driven into him. He did well to keep it under control and lay it off.
What do they say? Good feet for a big man.
And he is a very big man.
Watson with a neat pass. Latvia intercept, and it's Napsis nodding the ball off to Vittelnieks. Slightly behind him, stretched out a right boot, tried to side foot it goalwards. A half chance there for Latvia.
Presentable opportunity. Spurned.
Zone 8, the goal scorer back on the pitch for Australia. Ramandi, now Kurt Elbra trying to bundle away through the resolute Latvian backline.
It'll be interesting to see if either of these two sides, with 5 minutes to go, goes for it and tries the rush goalkeeper approach to try and grab the win.
Well, as you say, we find ourselves in a group where really anyone could escape. Peru bust it wide open yesterday. With a 2-0
Fortune
victory.
favours the brave.
It does, and we found that out thanks to Peru's goalkeeper. He was brave enough to take 2 chances and score 2 quite incredible goals yesterday.
And Kazakhstan as well, fair play to them. They were looking at potential elimination from the tournament. Took off their goalkeeper, went with the rush goalkeeper, and that arguably got the win for them.
Of course, last year in SN, 3 teams progressed from each group, only 2 this year. It's a harsher format, a more unforgiving one. One these 2 sides will be aware of as they look to find the winner in these last 4 minutes. Latvia stride over the halfway line, met by Australian bodies, but he does well to maintain possession. Jokst, there's their goal scorer. Corsacks, back to Sveders Kula in the goal. Corsacks can't bring it down. Sliding challenge, yep. The referee agrees. Free kick to Australia. Of course, you can't slide in soccer. Zone 8, the man who drew Australia level. An excellent finish. Following a scoop from Banam Ramandi, their spark, and that's a turn from a Zone 8. And they'll see him run shoulder to shoulder with Corsacks, who does well to shepherd him.
Those two enjoying a little physical battle. Within the rules, it has to be said, but it's a physical challenge between the two of them. Played in good spirit.
Yeah, little hug afterwards and a smile between one another. Always nice to see. Latvia with the kick in then. 2.5 minutes to play. Ben Morrison rises well. Stambolifu had that excellent opportunity. One shrouded in controversy, and he has a good chunk of his shirt grabbed as he raced through on goal. Shane Watson striding forward. Slightly wasteful that from the Aussies.
Well, 2 minutes to go. The game is in the balance. Do you stick or do you twist? If you want to progress, you'd think you've got to twist.
Fine interception from Stambolifu. And that's a neat turn from Ramandi. Chance for him to shoot. Flashes another one goalwards. Angle was against him. He was forced slightly wide.
Stambolifu felt he should have received the cross. Lurking at the far post.
He's got magic in those boots though, hasn't he, Ramandi? Can beat a man. And across from us, Scoop, those travelling Australia fans. They'll be keen to see their team find a winner. Not 1, not 2, but 3 Australian flags.
Yeah, they don't have a band though, do they?
They don't have the band. We've seen a saxophone, megaphones, the lot.
Yeah, the loud
here in
hailers
Muscat.
are great.
Good touchdown from Abudareb. And here could be an opening for Australia. Ramandi again makes his way to the byline, looks to pull it back across. Sveders Kula sticks out a heel.
Great lung-bursting run from Stambolifu, straining every sinew to get in the box and make himself available. I think he was a little bit frustrated he didn't get the cross. He's the danger man for Australia as we enter the final stages of this game.
Certainly got an engine on him, hasn't he, Stambolifu? Gives Australia everything he's got. break on here for Latvia, and if they use it well, it's a 3-on-2. Napsis goes round his man, and there's the finish! Deflected into the path of Ravis Vittelniks, and again, it looks like it's set to be late heartbreak for the Australians. They conceded late on against Albania, and they've conceded late on against the Latvians. All of a sudden, a 3-on-2 picture opened up. Napsis looked like he'd made the wrong decision initially, but his cross deflected into the path of Vittelniks, who from the tightest of angles, and with Shane Watson all at sea, rolls it into the back of an empty net. 2-1 Latvia.
Right at the death as well. Latvia are thrown men forward. They made a rash of substitutions to try and nick it, and they've got the decisive goal.
Ramandi with the cross, Ben Morrison rising. Australia know they need something. They've been well in both their Group F games so far, yet they could well find themselves without a solitary point come the end of this one. Shane Watson miscontrols. He's in the Latvia half. Smash clear, seconds to go. We've passed our allotted 40 minutes into added time. And there's the full-time whistle. And it is late heartbreak for the Socceroos. They were in this game all the way. They had their chances. They would have been well worthy of a point. But it's another gut punch. And Latvia collect the 3 points. A late goal, a late strike from Vittelniks. They celebrate wildly on the pitch. And that will leave a sour taste in the Australians' mouths, won't it, Scoop?
Vittelniks the hero. These two teams really, one of them had to win it. The game was up for grabs, one apiece going on to into the final minute. Latvia made a whole host of substitutions, and is they who have grasped the initiative and put themselves right back in this competition. And Australia now will face an uphill battle to have a chance of progressing to the knockout stages.
Well, I'll let you go, Scoop, because you're going to try and grab someone pitch side. Late drama here in Group F. Latvia at the death, registering their first 3 points of the 2024 Soccer World Cup here in Muscat, Oman. We're going to take a brief pause now, but we'll be back at 3 o'clock local time, where Croatia face Argentina.
jubilation in the Latvia camp. Yanis, you went for it and you've got the 3 points.
Yeah, it was really hard game because right now I think in our home country it's like +1, +2 degrees. So playing in 11 in the morning was more of not a football game, but who wants it more? And I think we showed that we want more because in the same time, keeper, I know he saved us 3-4 times. We owe him like bucket of beer. But yeah, I don't know what, it was 39th or 2 minutes before the end of the time we score, and first victory because against Mexico we felt like Australia today, and now we feel good.
Well, all credit to you because the game was there for the taking, one apiece, and you made a whole host of substitutions right at the end, and it paid off. It was the last minute.
Yeah, and then I was running to the right side. This is my 5th World Cup, and I was thinking, okay, this is probably my last run, and I need to be there if the ball goes, and thankfully it didn't, and it went through the left side, and Rives scored. So, and yeah, we're looking forward right now to Peru and Albania. We need to win those 2 games and go out of the group.
Did you feel you had to get the win to progress?
Yes, we actually had the mentality to win today, like in every game, because whenever we felt in the second half there was 1-1, and I was thinking to myself, we just need to win, because then you have to start calculating. Let's play football like our game and not calculate what happens in the table.
And as you were saying, for Northern Europeans, there's a temperature differential of about +30. What factor were the conditions today?
It was a factor, and we kind of laughed about it, but because Australia probably felt like playing in a hometown or something like that. But the weather only makes you stronger. You know, actually sometimes when it's too comfortable, you kind of go down a little bit, and we cheer each other up, and we had the feeling that this is our tournament.
And Latvia hopes for the tournament. What are your aspirations?
We need to go through. This is the 5th World Cup, and we always stopped right at the playoff first round. So the main goal is the final. If you don't play for the win of the championship, why do you play at all?
Well done. Congratulations. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Cheers.
Because the ball is over there. My position, somewhere there, somewhere. At first, yeah, I have to check the corner. After that, like this, somewhere there. And be careful, maybe there is a holding. If he starts the game, you can, it's not allowed to do this. No. If you are here, you cannot see this. But I'm here.